right, you are listening to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. And I am Alana.
And I'm Kelsey.
And we're very excited to have you all here today.
Yes.
And, yeah. Feels like a while since we recorded, but it was just last week.
Yeah, it hasn't even been a week.
Right, wasn't it? I don't know. It feels like a long week for me, I guess. So we're very excited to bring our first order of business today. We get to give a shout out
Yeah.
to our newest Patreon. So exciting.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Claps to self. Yeah, it's the first one to join at this level. So we would just like to thank Sean Lander for joining the $15 Fens Friends tier. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
I was tickled pink to read that we had a new patron.
Yeah.
I may be blushing right now. So thank you. And we hope you enjoy your Patreon content, of which there will be more soon because we are recording a new bonus episode that I'm really excited for about April disasters.
Yes.
So I think that's going to be a lot of fun, as sick as that makes me sound.
Woo!
So there's some good podcasts and about disasters and stuff that they could be like really riveting. I don't know. But also true crime can be involved sometimes. You just never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of bombings that have happened in April.
Yeah, there was a number of them that I remember happening and I remember hearing about.
Right? And then some famous things like ships that sunk and
Yeah.
things that exploded and burned on the ocean. But they've made a movie called Deepwater Horizon about that one.
Yeah. Also some assassinations.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying to Kelsey that we should do there's a theory out there that I'd heard that there's just more things that happen sometimes in April that are catastrophic or sinister or yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay. And then so when you go looking, it's like it wasn't hard to find things.
No,
So,
when I was Googling it, I did run across a page that was talking about that like on average more things world disaster wise like happen in April, which is not what the Wikipedia page I ended up like scrolling through that told me basically every disaster like that affected like the world in some way, like earthquakes,
yes.
typhoons, cyclones, all that kind of stuff. It had it listed, and not all of or the majority of that, I wouldn't say was like April or anything. It seemed to be like the way like warmer months in like the summer
Right.
because of like the cyclones and stuff.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
More weather related
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
catastrophes at that time. Yeah, it's probably just one of those weird things that might be like maybe it's slightly statistically true, like those depressing facts like I've heard that you're just a little bit more likely to die say on your birthday and you're like, well, that's not fun, but
Oh,
oh yeah, I
that'd
don't
be
know.
terrible.
Right? And I don't know if that's just like okay, but there's one you've heard like people die sometimes more during the holidays.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't know if it's just maybe it's like a thing of like maybe you'll be eating a lot or maybe there'll be a lot going on stress wise. Maybe that, you know, just
Yeah.
pushes the statistic a little bit that way so then people like to say it like to kind of freak you out a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I know they say like suicides and stuff go up, but yeah, like heart attacks and people being stressed about money and people killing each other over money
Yeah.
or gifts or family drama or fights is probably a lot higher.
Yeah, that could be why John Benet Ramsey was killed on, like, we call it Boxing Day here. Basically
Mm,
on the 26th.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Sad day.
anyway, yeah. We are not talking about that today, but that's just a taste of what is
No.
to come on Patreon.
Yeah.
Oh, check it out. Um, oh,
Yes.
and uh, Sean gets to, our newest patron gets to choose a episode topic at that level. So I'm really excited for that, to tell you the truth.
Yes, we'll see what is in store for us.
Yeah. Ooh, could be devious. You never
Yeah, we have
know.
no idea. This is the
I hear
first
some
one.
people. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. My first fan picker.
yeah, so if you guys have ideas and you want to be like Sean, you can join at the $15 Fans
Be
Friends.
like Sean.
Be like Sean. Be like
Be like
Sean.
Sean.
And then,
Join the
yeah.
Illuminati. It's not a
Yeah.
cult.
No.
But it could be a fun obsession.
Right?
It is for me.
Yeah, true crime is a huge thing. I was talking to a girl at work and she doesn't really listen to podcasts,
Yeah.
but I basically went through almost every Netflix true crime documentary I had ever watched. And she's like, oh my God, this is amazing. Was just putting all of them in her notes. I was like, you should watch this one. This one has a really good twist. This one has this. This one I like this. And yeah, it was some of them she had seen, which was kind of cool because she had seen some of the ones that like aren't super well known, even ones that I've covered on
Mhm.
here. So it's like, oh, it's cool that like
Yeah.
you're the only person I know that's like watched that too.
Oh,
So,
yeah. And then you'll hear about different ones on podcasts that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise. Yeah,
yeah.
that's fun.
Mhm.
I know some, and yeah, I think I talked about it on here maybe once before, but some people do kind of a recap review of different documentaries. I'd be
Yeah.
down. I'd be open to it.
I
I mean, I'm watching them anyway.
yeah, I just watched that one about Jimmy Savile or whatever, the a great British horror story.
Oh, okay. Nope, I
Um,
haven't seen it yet.
and I had never even heard of him because I don't think I'm in the age group that would have heard of him, but oh my God, he
He
just is
doesn't sound
so
familiar.
creepy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Add it to the list.
Yeah.
Kelsey's Rex.
Yeah.
Recommendations.
Yeah.
We haven't watched any true crime that I can think of in the past few days, but we did watch as a family the latest. Now I'm trying to think of it. Hercule Poirot, Agatha Christie, Death on the Nile movie.
Ooh, was it good?
It was,
Okay.
and we all enjoyed it. And then Rain was like, I really enjoy it because of this and because of character development for him. And like, I can't find anything to critique about it. She was like enjoying it as like this little movie file that we've made her into.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, yes. I love it.
Yes, but sometimes you can also just sit and watch a movie. Like I
Oh,
watch a
totally.
lot of garbage movies and you just sit there and you're
Me
like,
too.
eh, like it was good.
It's good if it entertains me and keeps
Yeah.
me
I don't
into
know.
it.
Why does a movie have to be a 10 out of 10?
Yeah, Roger Siskel and Ebert and who? No, it's the only ones I know.
Yeah.
All right, so who wants to do their weird weapon
I
first?
feel like since mine is, I let Alana know, mine is extremely short and very, I
Right.
don't know. I talked recently about phoning it in and I feel like I kind of did again.
Well, I don't think that you do have to have a million pages either. We
Yeah.
were talking about how these ones are kind of short because they're like usually mostly about the weapon, and then that's it. You don't get a lot of like backstory.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I want to know. You just told me, yeah, that it was kind of shortish, and so now I kind of
Yeah.
want to know.
I ended up covering three of them. And they
Nice.
so my first one is literally only a paragraph because I tried looking up more and this was in like five different sources I looked up. I couldn't find pictures. Oh my god, hold on. Gordo, go away. Gordo
Oh,
just
give
tried
me a
to
chance to
jump
burp.
onto my laptop. Um, oh my god. If you guys are
Mommy's
gonna fight,
working.
don't do
She's
it like
recording.
5 feet away from me. Okay, so the first one,
Sorry.
yeah, the
Sorry.
the first one I couldn't even find a picture in relation to anything about it.
Mm,
Uh,
yeah, I found that was often the case too. Even
yeah,
when I was trying to find, well, yeah, when I was trying to find one for my case, or just you were trying to find a case, and you're like, there's not a lot of information on this at all.
yeah. I looked at I think 4 or 5 different sources, and I still only came up with a paragraph. So, um, I led with the murder weapons in each of these, so it's not like um a thing. So my headline for this one is just pumpernickel bread.
Pumpernickel bread.
Yes.
Oh God, am I gonna
Yeah.
make some terrible puns? Pump her nickel, did you? I hardly know her. Oh my
But
God.
the reason why I wanted to do this one is A, somebody was killed with bread, and B, he has the best name ever. And everything in relation to the case, like every article talking about the case, just talked about how great his name was, and I agree. So in 1988, gentleman by the name of Reginald Heimsley-Doddingdale.
Oh dear Lord. Is he from a comic? Is he
uh,
Archie's
right?
other
Doddingdale.
rich friend Reggie?
Uh, so he was found dead. When he was found, there was like a large lump on the back of his head.
No,
Yeah.
Reggie.
Police soon discovered that the likely murder weapon was not like a loaf, but a piece of pumpernickel bread that was found lying near his body.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, my theory that it was a hard as a rock loaf just went out the window.
Well, it was like a hard as a rock, like piece. I don't know how big this
Huh.
piece was. Again, there was no pictures. Uh, yeah,
Interesting.
so it was described as being so dry that it was as hard as an anvil. I don't know why they wouldn't say rock. I've never heard hard as an anvil.
Well, I guess they are hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I just said Reginald Heimsley-Doddingdale's killer was never caught, and his bizarre murder unfortunately remains unsolved. They actually never figured out who killed him. So it's also like
What?
a 40-year-old or just under 40-year-old cold case about who murdered Reginald with some pumpernickel bread.
88, you said?
1988.
34. I'm 34. Oh my God. So that's it? Like he was beaten with, it
Well, he,
must have
I
been a
guess,
big
had like
piece.
a single lump. I don't know. They didn't say he was like beaten
Hmm.
to death. It said he had a lump on the back of his head. And it was,
Oh dear God.
yeah, I ended up Googling pumpernickel bread to like double check I knew what they were talking about. But yeah, it's like
Right?
the really, really dark, like brown
Right,
bread.
right.
Yeah.
Like a dark rye or something very. It's
Yeah.
dense, I feel
Yeah.
like, but still.
Yeah, it's
It's
pretty
very
impressive
confusing.
that this killed him, I guess. I also heard about one time about a very old person, I think, like on a bus or something, or in the street, getting killed by being beaten to death with a rolled up newspaper. So, um,
Hmm.
yeah. But that I did not cover. That was like local. It was a long time ago, though.
Oh my god. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
anything's possible, I guess, right?
Right?
I
A
was
falling
just
penny.
or like a marble rye situation, like for you Seinfeld fans, like they steal her rye. And someone wanted to get revenge for their rye. Oh my god.
I don't think I've
I
gotten to
love.
that episode yet. I just finished
Oh,
season 4.
oh, they would play that one on like the repeats a lot because it's
Mm.
they're trifling with an old woman who just wants to buy some rye that they apparently have to have, and you know, oh my god, yeah, Jerry's quite awful to her.
Oh my god. Yeah. Um,
Oh my god.
and
But we
my
love
next one,
bread.
yeah, my next one, I have a bit more. It's like a semi to medium dive. I don't know. Uh,
I love it.
so this one, the murder weapon is going to be a guitar string. It's like the strings of your guitar, the metal strings.
Oh,
Yeah.
that
So probably the
could
first thing
work, but
that popped
ooh.
into your head is probably correct. Um, but this case is a little strange. Not really for the murder weapon, but um, the
Oh,
yeah. So 49-year-old James, I believe it's pronounced Garrity. He was killed in 2011 by a man named James Paul Harris. So since both of their first names are James, I'm going to be calling them by their last names so that it's not confusing.
JP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
JP.
I have a friend named JP.
Um, so James Paul Harris, who I guess did the killing, is
Okay.
30, so he's like 19 years younger. And this occurred in Kansas in the US. So Harris reportedly shot Garrity in the stomach and then apparently kept him prisoner, like in his house, for 2 days, during which time he subjected him to a bunch of torture. It wasn't detailed anywhere that I
Oh,
tried reading.
no.
Um,
Well,
yeah. And then he ended up finally killing Garrity in some manner. So I don't know if this was involved in the killing, but afterwards he ended up cutting his head off using the guitar string. So I don't know if
just
that was the event of him dying or if Garrity had been killed before that.
oh my god. Like,
Yeah.
you would think it couldn't do a full job of decapitating someone. I was wondering how you could even, like, garrote someone with it without,
Yeah.
yeah, you'd have to put something at the ends of it. If I was
Yeah.
thinking like a killer.
Like a handle. Yeah.
Right, right. Which it
Or
might be what makes it a garrote when you put something in the end so you can, like, twist with leverage. But, like,
I
also, yeah, you
think
would just
so.
be protecting your hands.
I'd
Yeah.
assume so because all the articles I read talked about that it was like a garroting death. So I assume he
Mm,
had like modified it in some way, but it was actually never recovered. So they like don't really know. Um,
damn.
yeah,
That's
basically the
sick.
case is like from like confession that he reportedly made. But
Okay.
yeah, Harris, he was actually described. This is where it gets like weird and why he wanted a head, I guess. So he it was described by people that knew him as a like sort of voodoo worshiper, and he told people that he was fascinated by human heads and that he wanted to have one that he could use for rituals.
Oh,
Yeah.
rituals. Great. We've heard about those
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, this reminded me of Aldolfo and the
The yeah, the cult and the
yeah.
worshiping of the please make my criminal business go better in the spring break crimes.
I can't remember his Mark Kilroy. Is that his name?
Yes,
That was
yes,
killed.
the
Yeah.
guy that I, yeah. Ooh, you're gonna do good on the patron quiz on my cases.
Uh, I have to tell you, I made mine of some of my favorite moments and funny moments from
Oh, hell
cases.
yeah.
So I was like, yeah, these I want to talk about, and maybe it'll get people to listen to those episodes if you haven't.
Yes.
So it was
Our
like, yeah,
babies, our favorite episodes.
yeah,
No, totally. And that's the kind of stuff that sticks with you more, anyways. Like,
yeah.
excuse me, the funny stuff, or, I always hate when tests give you like some arbitrary question, like, what was the specific date that this specific thing happened? And you're like, oh my God, that's literally just memorization for the
Yeah.
purpose of memorization. Yeah.
Um,
But,
so anyway, Harris was into some voodoo. So it's said that after Harris killed Garrity, Harris's ex-girlfriend, who's named Bobby Williams, she
okay.
says that after the killing, that Harris confessed to her, like later, that he had shot this guy and that he had killed him after torturing him for the 2 days. And she also said in like her statements that he confessed to her that he had kept Garrity's head in a bag. Um,
Oh,
some
whoa.
reports, including like I guess reports when he talked to the police initially, they said it was like a drawstring bag, uh,
Oh
like a
my
canvas
God.
drawstring bag. Um, but reports do say that he routinely like spoke to it, and he actually kept the head and like spoke to it for like months, like almost a year.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That is always gross. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. It just sounds like something you hear about, but you're hoping usually it's just like, what is that Tom Hanks one where he's cast
Oh,
away and he's just
Castaway.
talking to a fake face? It's almost like a
Yeah.
decapitated head, but it's a lot cuter.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a lot. You're just like, oh no.
Yeah. Harris reportedly ended up putting Garrity's like torso, arms, and legs inside of a barrel that he then like buried on some land that his father owned.
Oh, okay. So he finally got rid of it, sort of.
Yeah, the rest of the body, and he ended up burying like the head, which we'll talk about in a, a tiny little bit.
Okay.
Um, Harris's ex girlfriend also said that this I only found in one source. It says that Harris reportedly had like a voodoo doll that he had hung up from their ceiling, like in the house they lived in together at the time, and that this voodoo doll that was hung from the ceiling he had named like Jimbo, Bob on the Hill, and also poor Jimbo Belinsky.
Oh my God.
It has no relevance to the case. I just really liked Bob on the Hill and Jimbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a pretty good one. The first one, Jimbo, there's a Jimbo in The Simpsons, so it
Yeah.
also kind of made me giggle a bit because he's just kind of a,
Yeah.
I want to be tough, but I can't get a girl because, I'm gonna cry or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So, he must have buried Garrity's like head on his dad's property too, because parts of his skull were actually found like a year after he was killed, sometime in 2012, um, in the rural Osage County land that his father lived on, and the pieces of skull were found by like his dad's girlfriend named Shirley Johnson, and it says that she found them while she was looking like on the property for wild mushrooms.
Oh.
So she was out foraging, I guess.
Oh.
And yeah,
Magic mushrooms?
that's what I thought. I was like, what are you doing?
Or she's like a truffle pig of some kind. She's like, I can just sniff them out.
right? So she says that she ended up like digging up this piece of bone that she saw because she thought it was like some sort of ball that was buried in the ground, and I guess she wanted the ball. I don't know. Maybe she thought it was a baseball.
Buried treasure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know who figured out it was a piece of bone, if she did or they did, like when she went back to the house with it and showed it to her boyfriend, who was Harris's father. Once they figured out it was a piece of like skull, his father or Harris's father ended up calling the police, and he like reported his son in and all this stuff. So at this time there was like a warrant issued for Harris's arrest, for Garrity's, I guess, like disappearance at that time. He had been gone for almost a year. But
Okay.
yeah, Harris was actually already in federal custody for some unrelated charges. Um,
Okay.
yeah. So
So they're are
I
they
couldn't
not gonna
find
bring
out
it to
what the
trial?
unrelated
Hmm.
charges were, but he
Okay.
originally was charged with like first degree murder, and I think they tried to go that it was like premeditated because he was like after a head, uh, and stuff. So that it was like premeditated that he was gonna murder somebody.
Because they knew that he wanted a
A head,
decapitated head.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So
I
the
mean,
court, I mean, in like sentence or charging him with this, the court ended up facing problems with like evidence because they really only had like this little piece of skull, and then any witnesses that they had didn't really want to like come to court. So,
oh no. He's just so
yeah,
scary that he walked around with a head in a bag, but they can't
right?
fucking prosecute him. Yeah.
It's so weird. He ended up
Crazy.
entering like part of a plea deal where he was only sentenced, like, just blows my mind, but he was sentenced to just 4 years and 2 months, and he was ended up being sentenced for involuntary manslaughter as part of the plea deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
And Garrity's brother Tom, he was outraged, as like I kind of am, at how short the sentence was. And he's quoted
Yeah.
as saying, "The justice system is a joke." And after apparently they, like, judge did the sentencing, they asked him if he wanted to say anything, and he basically said there was no point, or it wouldn't do any good. Like,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah. It is pretty heartbreaking for the family.
Yeah, four
That's
years. You shot him in the stomach. You tortured him for 2 days, and then killed him and cut his head off, and then carried his head in a bag. Like, and you get 4 years and 2 months? Like, no!
I mean, yeah, and sorry. Oh, yeah, like he just gets that total lesser charge. They don't bother to hold out and try again, like, you know,
Right?
try for the actual justice they
Yeah.
deserve.
Yeah, I don't understand how that's involuntary manslaughter. You definitely voluntarily manslaughtered him. Like, like, yeah.
Yeah. No.
Um, So in like my research, really the only like motivation for why he killed Garrity, other than he wanted a head, was that there may have been some sort of dispute over like social security checks that Garrity was receiving. So maybe he like Harris wanted the money, or maybe Garrity like owed him money. Um,
Okay, maybe.
yeah. Um, yeah, it's all kind of weird. I was just like, this one's, yeah, it's kind of like weird. It only really showed up on like one, or it showed up on a bunch of the lists, but yeah, once I like looked in more into it, I was like, that one's so weird.
Yeah, I wish we could find out more about it too. It just seems like a little bit
Yeah,
left open.
Yeah, I think I only have like a few sources like cited, but I literally read through so many articles, some of them that were even word for word, like exactly the same. But,
Yeah, that's
um,
what gets annoying about them is that there's like all these different links, but it's all like basically it'll be like at the end like Associated Press, and you're like you have the exact same sentences.
yeah, yeah. So my last one, that's like my longest one, actually contains three strange murder weapons that could be like weird enough altogether, like individually.
Nice.
Yeah. So this one is a fireplace poker, a conch
Oh,
shell, and
what?
yeah, and a cast iron kettle. Cause
Ooh,
why not?
damn, that would hurt.
Yeah, why not go all out, I guess.
I mean, these ones are sounding fairly practical. Like there's some weird ones on the list, but like you said, there's again hardly ever like almost anything more than a couple sentences about some of them. So you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, well, it's
This
clickbait."
one, like the focus is definitely always on the conch shell. Um,
Yeah, that seems
yeah.
the unlikeliest.
Yeah. So in March of 2011, 41-year-old Rose um, Moines, her body was found
Okay.
discovered, or sorry, her body was found by her father on her bathroom floor, like surrounded by a pool of blood, and she had been badly beaten.
Oh, by her
And
father, her own father.
yeah, apparently in one source I saw it said that he was like coming to the house. She was like married with kids or something. For some reason, I couldn't find anything about them being at the house. It's very
Okay.
weird. But her
Yeah.
dad ended up finding her after I guess he came to pick her up for like to give her a ride for like some sort of doctor's appointment.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I'm glad her kids would be spared that, but I was just like sad to
Yeah.
hear that it was her dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rough.
Um, so Rose's murder at the time actually ended up going cold and it went unsolved for about 20 years. And unfortunately, during this time, her parents both actually died before her killer was ever like discovered.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn.
yeah.
That sucks.
Investigators determined that Rose had been beaten to death using like multiple weapons, including a fireplace poker, the conch shell, and a cast iron kettle.
Ugh, they
Yeah.
just were like switching it up. Gross.
Yeah, it seems kind of weird. Her purse was
Ugh,
emptied out on the floor and the cash had been stolen, so they believed it to be some sort of robbery.
okay. But like
Mhm.
seriously, they're obviously taking some enjoyment out of what
Yeah.
they're doing to the victim.
Like I'm pretty sure you could easily beat somebody to death with a kettle or a poker. Like a
Oh
fireplace
yeah.
poker by themselves. You don't need to like switch it up.
Oh no, that's you're a psychopath or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
The they don't really talk about the other weapons other than the conch shell that was like the focus of the investigation, and
Oh.
they figured out she had been beaten with it because it was found like near her body. And there's actually pictures of it. It has like some blood on it, so they know she was hit with it. And the conch shell had actually left very distinct wounds on her face and body because it has like a spiny, like pointed outside. They're pretty big.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be like basically like bigger than your fist.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah. They're
as
the
like a
ones with like
shell.
the spikes all around them,
Yeah.
not the. See, for a minute, I was picturing the ones that are more kind of like do that swirly thing. They swirl out from the middle or whatever.
Yeah, no, the conch
That's
shells
an
are
okay.
like I don't know,
I,
probably like the horn-like ones that people use
right.
in
They're kind of
movies always. Yeah.
they're like yeah, yeah, yeah. People always like listen to the ocean to pick them up, and they're like
Yeah.
oh,
They're
but they're
really
like
big.
yeah, you're right. They're like pale pink kind of.
Yeah.
I think I was thinking of a nautilus. That's the one. It's like a weird curly Q spirally one shell that I
Oh,
was thinking of. I think that's what it is. Okay, that's yeah,
yeah.
that makes more sense as a weapon than the smoother shell I
Yeah,
was
so it's
thinking
like
of. But it's
um
still crazy.
very like pointy. Honestly, like
Right.
side note, I'm pretty impressed that the shell remained in one piece.
It
Uh
did.
yeah.
Wow.
So the district attorney office, like after this went cold, asked for the case to be re-examined as part of like a cold case unit that they put together,
Mm.
and they started re-examining it in 2019, and the team kind of was like re-looking at the evidence from um 2001, so it had been 18 years, and they, from one of the investigators, I guess, what they were kind of talking about how they might be able to extract DNA from some of the objects, and they figured out that based on like how the killer would have held the conch shell, um, like while hitting Rose, that they would most likely have like put their fingers inside the shell and kind
Right.
of used it like a glove. Um,
So DNA would be
yeah,
present.
yeah, DNA would be actually inside the shell from their
That makes
hand being like
sense.
that. Yeah, so they actually, for the first time, like tested DNA from inside the shell and used this.
Crazy.
Yeah, the inside of the conch shell was tested, and the DNA actually came back with a match, like pretty quickly. There was someone already in the system.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, in a horrible like thing for the family, the investigators actually narrowed it down to Rose's half brother, David Reed. Yeah.
David Rose. No,
Yeah.
that's Schitt's Creek. Just kidding.
uh,
Man. You,
yeah, so
David.
yes, definitely ew, David. If you see pictures of him, you would go ew, David. He looks gross.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
nice. I mean, no.
yeah. So Rose's half brother, David Reed, is now like, I guess, the only suspect. The rest of the family was like
Okay.
completely shocked. David had actually been like the pallbearer or one of the pallbearers at Rose's funeral.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
They do say it is people you know sometimes,
yep.
but damn.
But for
That hurts.
20 years, and like their parents died and didn't know that he had killed his half sister. Like, it's
Right. Oh,
awful.
right. Half sister. Shit,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
So, shortly after her murder, apparently, like the family said David had become unusually quiet. So he was pretty quiet
Okay.
before. He had gone unusually quiet, and then at some point, like fairly quick after, he completely disappeared. And they didn't know like where he was or anything.
Oh, yeah. So that's a little
Yeah.
suspicious.
Um, but during some of that time, he was actually like in prison, and that's how they had his DNA on file, because he had given his DNA during a conviction in a different assault case that had occurred in 2003, where it said he allegedly beat a woman with a tire iron before leaving her for dead. Um, yeah,
So
and
he's
that,
a person of opportunity. Or is that
yeah,
what they call it? Yeah. I don't know.
um,
Because he
I,
just seems to pick up whatever's at hand.
yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's the same like attack or if it was like any time like later, like maybe a different day or what. But it then said that after that he beat like or he assaulted a police officer. Yeah.
Oh no, buddy.
Yeah.
That might be
So,
your last mistake
yeah,
before you
this
go to
was two
jail.
years after Rose's death. So, he was actually convicted
Oh.
of the assault on the police officer, but wasn't initially charged for some reason that I don't understand. He wasn't initially charged with the assault on the woman because she ended up dying shortly after. So he basically murdered her too, but for some reason wasn't charged with it.
I don't. I mean, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah,
I'd
I
love to
don't
see this
understand.
covered on some podcast where one of them is a lawyer. That's always good if they can explain that shit a little better. But like,
Yeah,
yeah, other than like someone would need to file it on her behalf, right? I mean,
maybe,
pardon
but I
me.
mean, she's still a fucking person. Like,
Yeah. Can't isn't there some legal precedent for when the victims? Yeah, that makes no sense that I can
yeah.
think of
So
in
after
any way.
some point in jail, I don't even know how long he was in jail for, he ended up being released and he actually like fled the area and he lived basically on the run before he ended up getting arrested in I think around 2020 for Rose's murder,
Oh
2020 or
wow!
2021. So it's pretty recent.
Holy
And
shit! Yeah.
yeah, basically the only motive that they ever discovered was just the money that he had or that had apparently been taken out of Rose's purse because her purse had been dumped out all over the floor.
Oh my god. That's
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Wow. What? But and that was his half sister, and the
Yeah.
only motive was money.
Yeah. He
And that
looks
can't have been that much
basically.
money.
No, they said it. If I'm remembering correctly, it was like less than $100. Like,
Jesus. Had to have been
yeah.
something. Like, he had to have been angry, or I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there was
It's
maybe
just.
something else involved. Um, but yeah, that's really all there is about the case. I read a bunch of articles,
You'd
and
have to
that's
pay
what
me
I
a
was.
lot more to murder my siblings. Oh, wait, they listen. Just kidding. Seriously, that's
But
insane.
yeah, like he murdered his half sister. He beat her to death with a fireplace poker, a conch shell, and then a cast iron kettle. And keep in mind, she was found like in a pool of blood in her bathroom. None of those things are gonna be in the bathroom. Like,
No. It almost makes
yeah,
me wonder if there wasn't, like, he didn't already have some sort of unhealthy relationship with her.
right?
And that's just speculation.
Yeah. That's
I've been
kind of the
reading too
thing
much
I got
crap.
too, because like I
Yeah.
don't think family members normally murder each other for like $100. But
Like, who
um,
knows? Yeah.
the picture of him that I found online, there's only a couple, and he basically looks like he may or may not be addicted to drugs. He looks pretty like strung out. So,
Aw.
yeah, it
Mugshots
may
aren't
be.
that flattering. Come on now.
No, but he basically looks like, I don't know, like some sort of like skeleton guy that would be like playing somebody that should be
Hmm.
dead in like a horror movie. Like,
I could.
it's pretty
Okay, I was gonna say I
pretty
could see
creepy.
drugs being a motive if it's not a lot of
Yeah.
money. I could see
Yeah.
people like that are really addicted still. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either
Hmm.
I think it's like that, or it's there's something else that like hasn't come to light that was going on.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah.
Sinister as fuck.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. But
Wow.
that's my three cases.
Yes, three cases and then you got in like more than three weapons too.
Yeah, three cases and five weapons.
I love it. I'm gonna have possibly a few that I might talk about too. Ooh.
Yeah. But
It, it was a little fun to research, but I know, yeah, a lot of it's
yeah,
like, this person
paragraph.
died with that. And then if you go to look into it, you're like, really, it's just some sad case. Like, all true crime is fucking
Yeah.
sad, but like a lot of times, yeah, it's just like some horrible this person snapped situation, or they like killed their spouse,
Yeah.
and it just happened to be with this weird their shoe, like their stiletto or something. Like I was like, someone killed someone with a stiletto, but then you go and you read it, that's like the whole story. I swear, guys.
Yeah, I was mad about the amount of times that I, well, basically the stupid lady in the US or something that, like, freaking put her baby in a microwave. Um,
I think I came across that too. You don't just forget
yeah.
that because you're like, oh, great, now I have that in my brain.
I ended up reading some more about it, and it's like messed up. There was something about like she was in an argument with her spouse or boyfriend over like whether or not he was the father. So she like literally grabbed the baby and shoved it in the microwave and like cooked the
What?
baby in it and then said there, now the baby doesn't matter or something.
Oh my god, she had some sort of
Yeah.
psychosis. That is so fucked up.
Yeah. And then they were saying that like out the baby I get they well the boyfriend was like boyfriend or the girlfriend I think it was somebody was claiming that they found the baby like a couple hours later and it was still alive or something and they tried to take it to the hospital where it was like unresponsive and that at the hospital there was no like outward signs of anything wrong but like the baby's like internal organs were basically just like cooked because that's how
No.
a microwave works. It cooks from like yeah.
Nobody in that household did
Yeah.
anything.
No, it was like
And
so
that,
gross.
so there's no trigger warning when you just fucking come across something like that and then just read it.
Right?
I
Yeah.
not that it would make it any better, but like, and I'm
Yeah.
almost ashamed to admit now some things I thought were funny or when I was a kid. Like you'd go on, there's a website that was like Joe Cartoon or something where you could watch like a frog in a blender, but it's just like now I'm just like, I can't believe I ever like at one time
Yeah.
there was like dead baby jokes and that like I thought that that kind of humor or whatever or that kind of a specific joke was funny. I'm just like, ah.
Right? Yeah.
Not when you come across that shit in the real world, and now I have my
No.
own kid, and I'm just like, that is fucked up. It's just okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, we didn't mean to cover that, but we
No.
talked about it.
Yeah. It's like
Sorry.
a special kind of messed up.
There's got to be some meth in that household. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Something going on.
So mine's
Anyway,
pretty sad too, but we'll take
a brief
a quick,
break.
yeah. And I'll have something to lighten up the mood also.
Perfect.
So, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Do you love true crime but are looking for something different?
It sounds like a sitcom.
It does.
The Benders.
The kind of assholes you should probably leave them alone.
Do you like learning about cases so off the wall they can't possibly be true?
Her wig is enormous, but it is lifted off her head by a monkey.
Do you love history but want to hear about what they didn't teach you in school? It's just got a
Interesting.
almost where you hang your horns sign.
Do you like laughing awkwardly about cases that are bizarre and a little strange?
They'd be able to wield so many knives with all of their little arms. Then we have the podcast for you. Join me, Lindsay,
And me, Madison, for Ye Old Crime.
where we discuss the funny, strange, and obscure crimes of yesteryear.
Listen every Wednesday wherever you get your podcasts.
And we'll see you next time with another tale.
As old as crime.
Anyway, I'm ready for more strange murder
Pardon
weapons.
me. Oh, are we recording? Okay, no. All right. Yes, I have a strange one. It is the case of Deborah Hewitt and the fake leg, the prosthetic leg, I should say. Yeah. Did you come across it, do you think?
Yeah, I was gonna cover it until you let me know which ones you were doing.
Well, again, there wasn't a lot, so
Yeah.
it was tough, but we'll see. It had a little bit. It was, yeah, there was a little bit more to it, of course.
Yeah.
And, oh, yeah, as is a lot of the times, the headline just really condenses it, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, that's a nice clickbait or whatever, or people post it as a meme almost, like, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
Very
kind of
true.
like, okay. But yeah, there was people involved, of course, so we'll get into it. This Deborah was a 47-year-old lady who was living on the streets, homeless. Her friends had nicknamed her Angel. It didn't get an explanation as to why that was, but it just
Okay.
it comes up again, so that's all. But she, I don't know if it was a married name or what, because she also had went by the name Deborah Sue Shankin, I think it might be
Oh, okay.
pronounced. I'm really horrible lately at not checking how things are pronounced. I feel really shitty every time. I'm like, damn it. I've just been really busy. A little bit overwhelmed, so I'm sorry. And I am, because, like, even if maybe she might not be the most greatest of people, you know, I still don't want to be, like, dismissive and not just pronounce their names incorrectly and whatever.
Yeah.
But we're just going to call her Deborah Hewitt, because that's how she's usually known as when you Google her. So yeah, she had been dating a man named Dwayne Ball, which was horrible of me to think that, like, what do you do when you're dating a guy when you're, like, living on the streets? Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna go out anywhere. I've never really dated anyone myself in the sense of, like, going out for, like, you know, dinner and a movie all the time. I just, like, you see it on the movies, but I feel like I just met people at parties or just, you know, those other kind of settings.
Yeah. That's fair.
I don't know. But, so yeah, she'd been dating Dwayne Ball, but when he went missing for a few weeks, and after about 6 weeks or so, he was found dead in the 600 block of Buchanan Street. I did not say, oh, this is in Lafayette Parish, so Louisiana, I believe? Yes, Louisiana. Good. True Blood has taught me something.
I was like, why does Lafayette sound familiar? And, okay.
Well, actually, I can't remember if he was a character in that, was he? Was that the cook's name?
Yeah.
Lafayette. But it's
Yeah.
also a place. Yeah. Anyway. Yes, love
True Blood. You mean, like, terrible show.
Definitely makes me want to watch Eric Northman in the new movie The Northman.
Yeah, he's the only reason I ever watched that show because
Oh.
I literally can't stand anybody else in it.
Those Skarsgårds, they're so good.
Yeah, they're good.
Swoon. Okay. All right. Yeah, but this is true. Like, okay, I got nothing. No segues. Okay. He was discovered dead, partially hidden under a tree in Lafayette Parish. He appeared to be choked, stabbed, and beaten. And
Oh.
Deborah was, yes, all of those things. Gruesome. Deborah was treated as a suspicious person in the case. I mean, obviously, once they found out he was dead, like, she's one of his, his ex-girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
Or girlfriend, at least, as far as we know right now. It eventually came out that Deborah was involved with another man, and they both had come under scrutiny. A man named John Romine. And in court, Deborah said that Dwayne had been threatening her and she had acted in self-defense. She said that John strangled Dwayne, actually, not her.
Okay.
It's always a good thing about having an accomplice, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't me. It's all his idea. The prosecutor, Pat McGee, said, quote, "The angel of death happened across Dwayne Ball in January 2010, and the state submits to you that the angel of death is right there."
Okay.
So, because she had the nickname Angel, they apparently
Oh, that's
riffed
weird.
on that for the nickname. Yeah. Also, the last time I wrote it, I wrote Angle of Death.
Oh, I'm so terrible for that.
We should do that with all the horrible names that the, like, killers get that, kind of glorifies them. It's just like a
Yeah.
Bogart from Harry Potter. You gotta, like, take the scary thing and make it, like, ridiculous, and then it doesn't have power over you anymore. The Angle of Death.
The angle. I kill only obtuse people.
This is my retractor and my
Yeah.
ruler and my meter stick. Anyway. All right. What the jury didn't know was that she had 2 previous murder charges brought to her before, but no convictions.
What?
Yeah. Apparently they weren't brought into evidence in this case because they weren't relevant to this specific case, so I guess they couldn't be? I wasn't really sure exactly why.
How is it not relevant? It's like a history of murdering people.
I mean, yeah, I guess that would... I feel like... it would only come up if you could put it under the, like, character witness part, because it's not this case she's being tried for. I don't know. It's really confusing.
But, like, who in their lifetime is just going about their business and then gets, like, tied to 3 murders?
That's a couple points in the shady character bank. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
There
like the
should
average person isn't in their lifetime connected to 3 separate murders.
Yep. But the first 2, the only other thing I could find in them was that they never led to, like, a conviction per se. One ended in dismissal and the other in a, quote, reduced charge of accessory after the fact to manslaughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Still not great.
No.
Accessory after the fact. Sounds like almost like you help someone cover something up.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Helped hide the body.
Oh. Yeah, and they did with this one, definitely. Like, they knew she was dating Dwayne.
Yeah, 6 weeks. His body was, like, under that tree, I guess.
That's right. And more evidence. We'll see. A lot of sources said that, especially the kind of clickbaitiest ones,
Yeah.
said she stomped on him and then beat him about the head with her prosthetic leg. Some going so far as to say she was doing it while balancing all on her other leg.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
yeah. Hang on.
I mean,
Other reports. What's
unless
that?
you have, like, a videotape of her doing that, you don't really know that's what happened.
And it seems a little far-fetched, especially when I just read other reports that said she was using her wheelchair at that time. Because it's like, then you wouldn't have to be balanced trying to hit
Yeah.
someone. Yeah. And then, at the trial, a witness was called to the stand named Jack Stovall. He was brought in from Michigan on a bench warrant and testified that he would confess the crime to him directly, saying that she had stabbed her boyfriend in January of 2010. He also testified that he once saw the victim, Dwayne Ball, threaten Deborah Hewitt with death, and she subsequently told Stovall that he threatened her on a daily basis.
Yeah, sounds like a great relationship.
Exactly.
Said super sarcastically.
Exactly what I was thinking, yeah. I was just gonna
Like,
say.
yeah, if you're threatening to murder your significant other on a daily basis or even a monthly basis.
If this is true, it's not a great look. No, it's fraught with complications and abuse
Right?
already.
I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. Why are people so desperate to be in a relationship?
Yeah. It's one of
Like,
those things that like
oh my
society
God.
kind of pressures you into too. Like get married, have kids, get married, have kids.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Sounds miserable.
Yeah, and you no. Don't ever have kids for the wrong reasons, please.
Yeah.
I mean, not that you always have to have them for reasons. It's fine if they're a happy accident or whatever.
Yeah,
Happy
exactly.
surprise. But he said, the witness also said that Hewitt and Ball had broken up, and then that Dwayne Ball's behavior had taken a turn for the worst. He had begun stalking her. Again, I don't know why I thought about this so much in regards to their like living on the street situation, but I'm like, she wouldn't be going all that many places, so it also wouldn't be hard, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like this was the narrative, right? Was that he was stalking her and becoming like obsessive. And Hewitt, Deborah's attorney, asked, was Deborah fearful of Dwayne?
I would be. The dude's stalking you.
Yeah, right? Sorry, I didn't mention his name. The attorney, Harold D. Register. Register's a weird last name, too. So
Yeah.
I just had to have that in there.
Somebody in his family was a registerer or something, and then he became the son of Register. Or I guess that would be Registerson. I don't know.
Registerson. Yeah. Tinker, Tailor, Soldier Spy.
Yeah.
Stovall replied the affirmative, elaborating, Deborah's not easily scared, and Dwayne started displaying behavior that wasn't normal. End quote. She had also apparently borrowed a knife from a friend for protection, and the witness, Stovall, later ran into Hewitt and John Romine, the purported accomplice, at a homeless camp. There, the two confirmed to him the story. Also, they did this independently of one another, so, just the perfect kind of witness statements, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if they both just offered up the information because they were just excited or what, but they did tell him. Hewitt said that she had stabbed Ball and buried the blade afterwards. And Romine admitted to being there also. He then told Stovall that someone else held a piece of clothing around Ball's head while Hewitt stabbed Ball, and Romine further admitted to helping this, quote, another person change Ball's clothing, then put his body under a mattress beneath a large tree.
Aw, that just sounds so sad. For anybody to just be put under a mattress.
It's so unnecessary. Unless it just does. I mean, the stalking thing could be completely made up. So I don't know how it feels like it is a waste, especially when she's got the previous charges kind of. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Could go one way or the other, I guess.
exactly. You're like, well, if somebody was being stalked, maybe they would be afraid to bring it to the police, especially as someone who's homeless or whatever. They might not trust the police, especially, but
Yeah.
I don't know. she's still got a lot going against her in this story. Then they disposed of his clothing in a river, said John Romine, because apparently they just can't stop talking about it. And this leaf Prizolto. I did not try this one out beforehand, can you tell? It's like Przitulski, something like that. Testified that he witnessed the killing of the victim. He had known defendant and Mr. Romine only a few days. He stated that he was wandering the streets when he met defendant and was invited to stay with her and Mr. Romine in their camp for one night. The next day, he went to the hospital to undergo an MRI for migraine headaches. Afterwards, he looked around downtown for defendant and Mr. Romine. When he did not find them, he went to the camp to get his bag. There, he found the victim, meaning Dwayne Ball, sitting on a pile of stuff, including Mr. Przulski's bag, his other witness, drinking beer and smoking marijuana. He attempted to get his bag, but the victim said it now all belonged to him and urinated all over the pile. Mr. P left. Yeah, right? Even the victim's not being painted in a shining light here.
No. Ew.
I know, I found this part and I was like, I didn't hear this side anywhere else. And yeah, I think it was from something that was taken straight from the court case, because that's why it sounds all like defendant, stilted.
Oh, okay.
I believe. I have all my sources. I'm just... Yeah, it was something court-related. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so he peed all over this guy's stuff, Mr. P's, and then Mr. P left and eventually ran into defendant and Mr. Romine in town. He told them about the victim claiming all the stuff in the camp was his and urinating on everything. They told Mr. P they would handle it. Mr. P stayed in town at a karaoke bar until a little before midnight. Then he went to the camp. However, before he arrived at the camp, he heard arguing. He crept up to the camp, hiding in the weeds, and saw defendant, Mr. Romine, and the victim arguing. So he saw Deborah, Mr. Romine, like John Romine, her accomplice, and Dwayne Ball all arguing.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he saw Mr. Romine throw the victim down and get on top of him. He said that the victim was right in front of defendant's wheelchair and that she stomped on his face with her prosthetic foot several times. She then took off the leg and began to beat him around the face and head with the leg. Oof. She was just saying, this is the end of it for you.
Well, I mean, the dude peed on your stuff. That's so gross. Yeah.
That was pretty rude. But these guys are just going straight to bat for him, too. They're just like, oh, sure, I'll just totally beat this guy for you. And then, like, she's been dating him also. You're like, okay.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
There's a reason you were so quick to jump at this, this revenge or whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't be, like, stomping on some dude's face.
Oh, man. She has some anger issues or something. According to Mr. P, at some point the victim got loose. Mr. Romine threw him back down. The victim managed to pull a knife out from his boot and cut Mr. Romine, but then dropped the knife. Defendant grabbed the knife from the ground and stabbed the victim, quote within a quote, for a while.
Okay. Hold still, I'm gonna stab you for a while.
For a while. Mr. Romaine got a hold of a strip of sheet and strangled the victim until he was dead. Mr. P said that they discussed what to do with the body. Mr. Romaine pulled the body away and put a mattress on top of the body. Just about this time, Mr. P made a noise that defendant and Mr. Romaine heard. He attempted to run away, but Mr. Romaine caught him. Oh, I guess he's watching at the moment? Okay.
Okay.
I think so. They said that they threatened if he said anything to anyone, he would end up like the victim. End large quote.
Yeah. And quote within a quote within a quote. The quoteception.
Right. They're breaking the fourth wall. My favorite. We were just watching some of those great supernatural episodes where they break the fourth wall because the trickster's doing things and then they're like on Dr. Sexy MD.
That's my favorite. The mystery spot and flipping channels.
Changing channels.
Changing
Yes.
channels.
Yeah. So good. And then Rain was like, oh my god, Dean, or not like that, but like Dean's voice is deeper than I thought. And we're like, wait, but you've seen like the Supernatural Scooby Natural episode, but we're like, oh yeah, that's about it. Like you haven't been really old enough to be interested in horror movies until the last couple of years.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and then his voice, like, from the first, like, few seasons just gets progressively, like, how deep can I get it?
Well, I was saying to Pat that I was listening to, Smart List podcast, because it's Will Arnett on there as one of the co-hosts who plays, like Lego Batman.
Yeah.
I think they had a guest on a couple weeks ago. I can't remember who, but I remember someone was they're always like teasing the fuck out of each other, which is hilarious. But yeah, one of them was like, "Oh, do you make your voice like deeper for Batman or whatever?" And then he immediately like made his voice much deeper.
It's like,
and was
no.
Well, yeah, and like just totally like slowed down and oh man. You're like, oh my god, I am the Batman.
I love it. Those Lego Batman movies are pretty good.
So good. I actually heard that Batman's good too, but all I can think of when I hear it is there's an episode of New Girl where she dresses up like Batman to, I don't know, help Schmidt because he thought he was pen pals with Michael, or one of the guys that plays Batman, Michael Keaton. Yeah. But then it was like his mom all along pretending. And then she just gets dressed up Jessica and is like, I'm the Batman.
Yeah. Something
That's
like
great.
that. That was pretty cute.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I haven't finished this horrible murder case. Oops. Wait, just a couple more. I just have a couple more sentences on it, and then it's something else. Sad. So
we started doing that at work because the one manager's leaving. So we're writing like instead of doing a like going away card, they have like basically a sheet of paper on the wall that everybody's just writing on. And the girls that work with her, like directly in her team, the warehouse team, they cut out a whole bunch of hearts and were just writing things and basically made a banner out of hearts. And they, not a lot of them like have English as their first language. So the one girl just like made like 6 hearts that just say, I sad. And then they have like, I cry, you make me sad, don't go, come back. But now at work, everybody at work just keeps going, I sad.
Oh no.
Because, yeah, over like everything. I sad.
I could see that. Yep.
Yeah.
But did they like also get her a card? I mean, I think it's a cute idea, but it's also
I
like...
think they had a card because there was some note about like sign the card below and it was beside the sheet of paper. So I think there was a card at some point. I just missed it.
Because one time, I mean, it's not like we didn't... well, did you have yearbooks in like middle school? I don't know. But instead, I made this pair of pants out of white fabric, and then I brought them in one day while I wasn't wearing them to clarify and had people sign them.
Sign my butt.
No, but later people would be like, "Oh no, you're too forward." No, but at that time I was like, "No, just sign them here and then I'll wear them later." And it was actually kind of fun. I'm sure I still have them somewhere, but
That's pretty
it was
cool.
not a great sewing job either.
Oh.
We didn't have a sewing machine, so everything I'm talking is like hand sewn.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's the only thing I've ever like cut out a pattern and then sewn.
Yeah, I've never done that. I mean, I made face masks, but
Oh, my cousin's show, she did that. Oh
Anyway.
my god, did I finish the case yet? I feel like we've gone several
No.
tangents. Now I'm lost. Okay. So, to finish it out, the Deborah Hewitt case in court. Quote, "Do reasonable people let their loved ones rot for weeks?" Maggie asked the jury. Yeah. No reasonable person who felt scared, who thought that a homicide was justified, would have done that. End quote. Yeah. So Deborah was found guilty of second-degree murder, and it only took the jury about 2 hours to convict her.
yeah.
And it was pretty cool, hey?
Well, I don't really get the her being in fear for her life thing when there's what he's sitting on the other guy's stuff and then her and the other guy like roll up, so now it's her and two guys versus him, and then the one dude ends up getting killed, but it was like three against one.
Right.
And she's saying she
Or
was
at
afraid
least
of
two
him.
against one, because the one might have
Yeah.
been hiding in the bushes. But yeah, it's definitely
Yeah.
a pretty flimsy excuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this was a fun fact I found out. Her life sentence was handed down. That's not the fun part. But by a district judge, Marilyn Castle. Castle and cryptids. Anyway, and according to one source, because I had to search to find out if the other guy got any, how his court case went. But according to at least like one source that I could find, he got also a second-degree murder as well.
Yeah.
But it was harder to find information. Obviously, people just kept repeating the headline of someone killed someone else with their prosthetic limb.
Yeah, that's what I ran into too. I think it's probably a lot of these cases. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Just like mine, I
know.
didn't even realize until I was editing my notes that Rose was killed by anything other than a conch shell. Everything just talked about the
Oh,
shell,
yeah.
and it wasn't until I was like retyping my notes, even after I'd read them, that I clued into the fact that there was like 3 murder weapons. And I
Yeah,
was like,
and this
oh,
one, same thing. The main narrative you get with this one is that she literally beat her boyfriend just with her prosthetic leg, and like no one else was
Yeah.
there and whatever until
in
you
reality,
actually
she probably
dig in.
stabbed him to death.
and had help, and yeah, exactly. You're like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But to take a 180, we also, when I first looked up weirdest weapons in history, I came across, oh, I heard a cat.
Yeah, Gordo's talking to me because I'm ignoring him.
Gordo. Yeah, and then they shake. That sounds like when Fenrir shakes. I just heard his collar go.
Yeah. Alright.
Also, for this one, although I did not upload any photos, I got this list off a website that I did send you the link to in an email because it
Oh.
would be just much easier for me. If you were curious as to any of what they look like, you just click on the link, and then there's because there's like 20 things in the list.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like the weirdest weapons in history. So like weapons through the world wars and stuff. There's some weird ones.
My favorite
obviously.
weapon that I know of is from Mythbusters. And it basically like launched a whole bunch of like fireworks or something at the same time.
Okay.
And it was called a Wacha. HWHACHA or something? Wacha.
I feel like I might have seen that when I was
Yeah.
searching for this list again.
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, because that sounds like weird.
Hwacha.
Yeah, different ones across history and culture.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these ones. Well, it's just a short list. I don't know. A lot of them seem to be. I want to say European or North American, but I don't know. Some of them pretty cray cray. So I didn't look into any of these. It's just basically from list of allthat'sinteresting.com. Yes, that's where it was from. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's definitely bound to be at least a little entertaining. The first one was, if you know what a Vespa is, it's like that little, electric scooter kind of vehicle.
Yeah, I'm looking at the modified one here. It looks pretty interesting.
Yes, this was the Vespa 150 Tap, which was modified for French paratroops in 1956. And though the rifle was meant to be removed from the scooter to aim and fire, it could also be fired while the scooter was moving.
Yeah, it looks pretty intense, and I enjoy that they obviously had to paint this Vespa like the cliche military green.
Yes, even though most of the pictures I think are in black and white. Yeah, you're like, wow, they just like took a little scooter and like strapped some like missiles on it
Yeah.
or whatever. Rifle? Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, wow. This looks like it's straight out of a movie.
Yeah, I want to see this in a movie.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty intense for 1956.
I know, I guess maybe it didn't perform as well when they actually brought it into combat.
Yeah.
People are always crashing on those things, don't you know?
Looks like it's got a little kickstand and everything. It's great.
Then we had the Bat Bomb, which these are all the descriptions from the
Bat Bomb?
website, but the United States developed the Bat Bomb as an experiment during World War II. The giant case was filled with more than 1,000 compartments, each containing a Mexican free-tailed bat attached to small bombs. I can't even read this. The idea was that the bomb would be dropped with a parachute, the bats would be deployed, they would roost in attics, their bombs would go off, and fires would be started in Japanese cities.
Ugh, I feel bad for the bats, but I also at the same time love the sentence, the bats would be deployed.
It's every time I read that, it doesn't make any more sense.
Yeah.
What?
I'm very confused.
Yes. That one I had never heard of prior to researching this. Yet this next one, which is comparable, is I had heard of once, strangely, twice in 1 week on different podcasts somehow. It might be a little bit well known. I'm not sure. Because I hadn't heard of it before I started listening to podcasts. But this is called Operation Acoustic Kitty.
Yeah, I've heard of this one.
Oh, okay. I really had not until just recently. So it was on the list, and I was like, great. But it was
Yeah.
that during the Cold War, the CIA came up with a plan to stick microphones in cats' ears and radio transmitters in their cat skulls in order to spy on the Russians. It's pretty gross. I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah. They used to do some fucked up things.
It's true. So yeah, if most people have heard of it, then they would know that, or like most what you read is that I have a quote here, but for its first official test, CIA staffers drove Acoustic Kitty to the park and tasked it with capturing the conversation of two men sitting on a bench. Redacted government memo read. Instead, the cat wandered into the street where it was promptly squashed by a taxi.
Oh. Because it's a
Yeah.
cat. I mean.
Well, yeah, exactly. It's crazy when they have tried to train any animals, but I have also
Attach
heard
a-
that that might not be true. So I like to think that it's not.
Like, I don't know, capture a duck and, like, put a transmitter on its foot or something, and then have people feed the duck in the park. Like,
I mean, you might have better luck because cats are just so. As I don't know, you would know
Yeah,
better than I. I
cats
haven't
are-
had one recently, but they're apt to do what they want.
yeah, they're not extremely sociable unless they actually need something from you. They're
Yeah.
not likely to, like, want to hang around people.
Sounds like my child, but
Yeah,
my
so-
teenager, I should say.
Yeah.
Oh. But like it's so crazy when you read more. So they had like basically an antenna that ran along its spine. And some reports say that there were several in the program. Several cats, and they had like a battery in the chest cavity and they were like living walkie-talkies.
That just, like, breaks my heart.
I know. I don't like it. I don't like it either. I'm just like, it's crazy. I like hearing about those stories where you're like, this cat, like, survived a shipwreck in the war or something. Not like people just decided they were allowed to use it as a weapon of war.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just wanted to get close to the Russians. But yeah, they had planned to get close to a Russian ambassador's house. That was their target. He liked cats and strays and would feed them. And then it would follow the other cats inside, hopefully when the official fed them, and voila, recording Kitty.
Oh, okay.
That's what, I guess at least one instance said they were trying to do specifically. And I also heard reports that, the other way it fucked up was that one cat didn't cooperate, got stuck in a tree. Which I'd like to think that one's more true than just that they only did it with one cat and he immediately got struck by a taxi. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
cats are usually a lot smarter than that. They don't get hit by cars all the time.
No.
Maybe don't go messing around their heads, though.
Yeah. I feel like putting batteries and antennas and receivers and transmitters in their bodies had to do something.
Maybe. Alright, then there was the Who Me stink bomb. Was a sulfur stink bomb that the US created during World War II. It smelled like poop and was meant to be used to humiliate and demoralize German troops. I don't know, because now we have mace and stuff, but this seems like just a bad idea that's similar to that just went horribly wrong, because it said the plan failed since the soldier who did the spraying often ended up smelling as badly as the sprayee.
Yeah.
Dumbasses.
I just have to commend them on the fact that it was called a Who Me. Like, who farted?
Yeah.
Me? Or who
Couldn't
pooped their
be,
pants?
yeah.
Me? Wow.
I know. Then you had the Kiss of Death, which was a lipstick gun created by the Russians during the Cold War. It could shoot one bullet from a tube of lipstick.
Now that's just impressive.
Yeah! And so cute and compact. Ooh!
That's pretty cool, and I want to see a movie immediately with some sort of like female
Yeah!
Russian spy that kills somebody with her lipstick tube gun.
Very James Bond.
Yes,
or,
so James
Or
Bond.
Austin Powers, because you'll say during the Cold War, that's very like 60s, 70s.
Yeah, I love it. Anyway.
Then you had the Paris gun, which was used by Germans against the French during World War One. I'm sorry. Though the giant gun's shells were the first human-made objects to reach the stratosphere, it had terrible aim and was mostly used as a psychological weapon.
I mean, the thing looks huge.
Right? I think it was like, they're like, we accidentally almost created a space rocket. We reached the stratosphere. But it's not really that good as a weapon.
The like barrel of it is like as long as a bus. If like probably longer. Probably like 2 buses long. This thing's insane.
It was probably Elon Musk's grandfather that did the inventing.
I can see like the people for scale like standing by it, and they're tiny.
So crazy. Yeah, I said you guys have to go to all that's interesting. The pictures were amazing.
Yeah, I'll put the link on the website.
Oh yes. Yes,
I won't put the pictures on the website because I don't want to put like 22 pictures on there. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Hence me with the friggin' drive. I was like, no.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, it's definitely, they're pretty crazy, some of them. Oh, yeah, the next one is, you can picture it. It's the Krumloff curved rifle. Very long barrel of a rifle, just like the old-fashioned ones you see back a couple hundred years ago, like long-ass rifles, but it's curved.
yeah.
Apparently, as it said, the Nazis invented the curved rifle to shoot around corners and over walls. It didn't work for obvious reasons.
Yeah, but it just reminds me of who's that guy that's always hunting like Bugs Bunny?
Oh,
And
Elmer Fudd, or is that the one
yeah.
that's... Okay. Yeah, I was like, I know he's always after the pig.
Yeah, him and like Roadrunner and all that stuff.
Yes!
I'm like that. It looks like a gun he would use. It's great.
Oh yeah, cartoonishly bent, like at a complete angle, where you're like, how does a bullet then have the trajectory, like, how does it get up to speed then if it has to go through like a 90-degree curve?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know. Oh, this one has a fun name. There was the bouncing bomb. The 9,000-pound motorized bomb was dropped from Nazi planes onto the water. It would then bounce along the surface until it was over a submarine, then sink and explode.
Oh my
Pretty
god.
fancy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
The things they can make bombs and missiles and stuff do.
I want to know how they got something that's 9,000 pounds to bounce along the surface of the water. How did it bounce? It doesn't explain.
The power of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it doesn't explain how they got it to bounce.
Brain, my kid there, wanted to see the new Sonic movie on the weekend, and like, kind of spoiler alert, but he doesn't like to walk. He doesn't like water, but then he had to run fast to get across the water to save his family, and I don't know. Somehow he physically did it.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just like the ultimate power. But yeah, yeah, that's all there is on that one, honestly. They also have something called the man catcher, which I had heard of, which is a pole weapon used in the 18th century Europe to pull people off of horses and drag them to the ground. It's got a lot of prongs kind of pointing inward on this weird, like,
Yeah.
hooky thing, almost like you were going to hook someone off the stage that wasn't doing well, but it's got a bunch of barbs on the inside, like a torture device.
Yeah, I feel like I heard or saw this on something.
Yes, I had heard of it somewhere too. Maybe could have even just been like on Forged in Fire or something where they do different weapons.
Yeah.
But
It's making me think of like Mysteries at the Museum for some reason.
Mysteries at the Museum. Is that a movie? Because
No, it's like a series on the History Channel where they like go to museums and they talk about like different artifacts and things at like different museums.
that makes me think of the Spider-Man one where they're in a museum and they go, "I got a spear," and they're like, "No, that's a halberd." That's in one of the recent Spider-Man. It was funny. But no, for this one, they said that the victim would typically be wearing armor so that the prongs wouldn't kill them. Mm-hmm. So, great.
So why are they there? That's all I want to know.
Gripping power? I don't know.
Yeah, it seems kind of strange.
And then we had the Bulgarian umbrella, which it said this umbrella containing a chamber from which a poisonous pellet could be fired was reportedly used in the assassination of a Bulgarian dissident writer in 1978. The writer thought he had been stung by a bee and died 3 days later.
Yeah, this one came up when I was looking up cases.
Yes. Yeah. I love that it's an umbrella, but it's obviously like a spy umbrella, so it's not really. Yeah. Oh, was this what you were talking about? The Naka, the ancient claw-like blades. Okay. This one was blades used in India to slide over the knuckles and be used in a werewolf-like way.
Oh my god, it's Wolverine.
It's Wolverine, yeah. Yeah, and then there was the laser plane, first tested in 2007. The Boeing YAL-1 was a prototype aircraft developed to house a laser system that could be used to destroy targets with concentrated bursts of energy. That's just some sci-fi shit. Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
A
Okay.
laser system.
Yeah. The Claw of Archimedes. This naval weapon was built by the ancient Greeks to defend against the Romans. It's thought that it was a crane grappling hook that could lift enemy ships out of the water and then tip or drop them. It's pretty impressive, I thought.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm just like picking up ships like, whoop! And the Habakkuk, which said it was developed during World War II. The Habakkuk would have been made of a material called picrete, which was a combination of wood pulp and water that, when frozen, could be molded and held up to melting temperatures far longer than ice.
Huh.
When frozen. Yeah, that's weird. I remember reading that, but
Yeah.
how would that be that helpful? I don't know.
Is it a ship? Is it a ship that's made out of frozen water and wood pulp? I'm so confused.
The weapon.
It looks like a ship.
Yeah, okay, I don't get that one either.
Yeah.
It says it's made of a material which was a combination of wood pulp and water that could, when frozen, could be molded and held up to melting temperatures. Held up to melting temperatures. It's better than ice. No, I don't know.
Yeah, that's
I
confusing.
don't get that one. I should have looked into it more because I'm not sure. Okay. I do remember reading most of these ones, though. There was also the sun gun invented by the Germans during World War II. The planned sun gun would have harnessed the power of sunbeams to boil water sources and burn cities. A satellite would have been positioned in orbit with a mirror attached to it that would allow the focused sunlight to be directed at a target.
I mean, that's pretty intense, but not really how, like, the water system works.
It sounds like they're trying to make like a giant magnifying glass to like roast things on Earth.
We're gonna like just like ants on a sidewalk, but people on Earth.
Yeah. All right, just a couple more. I have the Soviet explosive dogs, and the photo on the website says it shows a Soviet military dog training school where canines were trained to be strapped with explosives and run under enemy tanks. Not cool.
Why?
I don't know. Why should everyone have to die for your stupid wars?
Yeah,
Since the
especially
dogs-
animals that have nothing to do
Yes.
with it.
Exactly. The most innocent of the innocents. Yeah.
Yeah.
But backfired. Since the dogs had been trained with non-moving tanks, they were frightened during actual battle and more often than not ran back to the trenches where they exploded and killed Soviet troops. You know, the ones they were supposed to help. Fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Then the Le Petit Protector gun ring. The 19th century gun was marketed to women and had the ability to fire bullets with just enough force to penetrate the side of a tin can.
I want
A
one.
minigun.
It's so
So-
cute.
It sounds like you get it in a cereal box or something.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. It's basically like a toy.
I mean, it does look like just like a funky looking ring, but it's like a
Yes.
little tiny gun and littler, tinier bullets. It's so cute.
I would buy that. Spy gun.
100%. And I like that it's even like decorated. Like there's like engravings to make it look pretty. Oh.
It's so true. We had the microwave blaster. The active denial system is a non-lethal weapon that would subdue enemy forces or rioting crowds by broadcasting microwaves at a particularly high frequency, causing intense pain and discomfort.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, we heard a little bit about possible microwave weapons on an episode before with the Havana syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. The harmonica gun, though this weapon invented in 1834 does not actually make music, its sliding magazine chambers oddly resembled those of the harmonica.
Yeah, it looks very strange.
Another cute one. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird.
I know a lot of the last little ones here were like guns. The North Korean flashlight gun was discovered in the toolkit of an undercover North Korean assassin in 2011. Just looked like a flashlight, I guess. Less fun. And lastly, they had the X-Acto device, or the Extreme Accuracy Tasked Ordnance, or X-Acto for short, is a device that is being developed by DARPA to increase the accuracy of military snipers. What's cool is an X-Acto round, once fired, would be able to combine sighting technologies with real-time maneuverability in order to direct a bullet to the target, or a target, after being fired.
I mean, you probably have to be extremely fast, otherwise the bullet that's been fired is going to have to be going so slow that you can steer it.
Well, you must have to, it must be able to take control of it with the technology somehow, yeah.
Weird.
I know, I don't understand that one. It does not make sense to me. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But if you can make a heat-seeking missile, then maybe they have something they could put in the bullet that makes it more trackable, traceable. I don't know. I mean, I was just editing our last damn episode where I said something like, the flying army. What's that part? The military.
The Air Force.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, everyone's cringing at me, especially my family in the military, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. I know. And that's my list of crazy weapons.
Very cool. I ended up looking up the Hwacha.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
Okay,
I
what
think
was
it's
that
pretty
one?
cool. I'm sad it's not on the list.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, I guess it wasn't.
Yeah, so it was developed in the 15th century in Korea, and it was able to fire like 1 to 200 rocket-powered arrows.
Holy shit, wow.
Yeah.
Rocket-powered arrows.
Yeah, it was basically they strapped the equivalent of like firework onto each like arrow, and it looks pretty cool.
You know what? A lot of shit got invented over in Asia before it ever made its way anywhere else.
Yeah, the 15th
I think the Chinese
century.
had a hand in gunpowder, and now this is what Korea, you said? Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
shit.
cool. It was like my favorite thing. After they covered it on MythBusters.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good show.
They
That
like
was a
built
good
their
show.
own and then like fired it. It was really cool.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That would be pretty something to see. Oh,
Well,
weird weapons, guys.
yeah. Pretty crazy.
Don't make the list yourself.
No. Stay off this list. Stay off of any murder list. Don't murder.
Yes. Well, like anything, there was always some dark ones, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of a fun one. So we'll see you next time where we're gonna talk about some either freaky flights or missing flights.
Yeah.
Plane
It's our next regular
maybe
episode.
disappearances. Yeah. I just really love this topic, so I'm excited.
Yeah, just weird things going on with planes. And
There's
then-
so many plane disappearances and just other shit. Like, obviously, you already covered one that was a plane UFO sighting, for crying out loud. Shining.
Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
covered a plane time slip, and
Oh my god! We've done some shit already. I can't.
yeah.
I can't even remember half the stuff we've talked about. Ugh. I can't wait.
And then you can check out our April Patreon when that gets posted, probably in like a week or so
Yep, that's our next one to record.
after this episode. And yeah, as we mentioned before, it'll be some April disasters.
April disasters bring May flowers. Nope.
That's what I
not
kept thinking. I was like, that doesn't sound great.
it. April showers bring May flowers, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
no,
what
it
I
should
kept
be good,
thinking
though.
of, though, too.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening.
Catch you next time. Keep it cryptic.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been Castles and Cryptids. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and our YouTube channel. Please rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Reddit. On our website, you can listen to all of our episodes as well as view pictures for each of our segments. Check out our Patreon page to view all of our tiers and become a Patreon supporter today to unlock monthly bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes content. We are working on an Ask Us Anything. You can submit questions by social media or by email at castlesandcryptids@gmail.com. Do you have a spooky ghost story, a creepy cryptid sighting, or a thrilling true crime tale you would like to share and have us include in a future episode? Send us your listener story by social media or by email. Please include the name that you would like mentioned. Our music is by Kobe Fair. Our logo and artwork is by Antonio Garcia. Thanks for listening.